Jerry James Stone and you're watching Cooking Stone. Today's recipe is going to be a wine braised fennel with a yogurt and thyme sauce. Now, I absolutely love fennel. It's aromatic, it's fresh and crisp, it's so versatile. You can use it like an onion, you can caramelize it and put it on pizza, or you can braise it, you can roast it. I mean, there's so much that you can do with it. You can just shave it and throw it on a salad. It's quite versatile, very, very tasty. And the other thing that's kind of interesting about fennel is that it actually prevents flatulence, and I'll talk a little bit about that more in the video. So the first step for this wine braised fennel is to have some wine yourself. So before we get started, enjoy. So the first thing we want to do is melt a tablespoon of butter along with a tablespoon of olive oil, and that's what we're going to initially cook the fennel in. Now we're going to add in our fennel. Fennel is it's an excellent source of vitamin C, by the way, so it's really good for you. Along with the vitamin C property, it's actually, so what gives fennel that sort of licorice flavor and aromatic is anethol, and that compound, that organic compound, actually prevents flatulence. So fennel tea, make it from fennel seeds or from the stalk itself, whatever you want to do, it's actually really good for sort of digestive health. So just keep that in mind if you are gassy, or, as you can see here, we're using a Dutch oven. If you have problems in the Dutch oven department, fennel is good for that. So we're gonna let this cook. Just want it to start to brown, the fennel, so it kind of caramelizes a little bit on each side. So you can see it's starting to brown there. So it should only take a few minutes. If you see like the brown bits kind of forming in the pan here, don't worry about that. When you put this in the oven, all that wonderful burnt butter that we are starting to generate here will just come through in the braising liquid. So it's really lovely. So they're sort of starting to turn out really nicely here. This has just been about 5 minutes total. They're getting kind of seared on each side. I think they're ready to be put in the oven. So we're going to turn off the heat. And now we're going to add our other ingredients. So first we're going to add a ½ teaspoon of salt. And we're going to follow that up with 1 cup of white wine. This white wine is really lovely. It sort of has this kind of grassy mineral flavor to it. It just blends beautifully with the fennel because it's not overpowering, it's not sweet, it's pretty dry. And the sort of grassy herbal flavors really just kind of bring out that licorice. Add in our 3 cloves of smashed garlic. Add in our thyme. And a lemon peel. And now we're gonna bake it in the oven. Now that we've baked it for 30 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and check on it. I forgot to mention this, but when I'm braising, I always put a layer of parchment paper over the top of what I'm braising, as it causes the liquids to be a lot more intense when you're done. So this just looks gorgeous. I mean, the garlic and the lemon and these are lovely. Exactly what we want. Now I'm just going to remove the braised fennel from here and set it aside, as we're going to use the liquid that's left over to make this really amazing, wonderful yogurt and thyme sauce, and that's what we're going to serve this fennel in. So now we're going to go ahead and make our yogurt sauce. So there's a couple things that are important here. First off, when you're making a yogurt sauce, you have to consider the fact that yogurt, the bacteria that's in yogurt actually gets destroyed if you raise the temperature above 120 degrees. So that's one thing to consider. So for that reason, you also don't want to add yogurt straight to a hot pan because it will curdle. So I'm going to take my Greek yogurt and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of flour. And the reason I'm doing that is to prevent the curdling. Yogurt doesn't have, when you can use yogurt in place of, say, heavy whipping cream or whatever when you're making a sauce, but yogurt doesn't have the same fat. It's not as fatty as cream, and for that reason it will easily curdle. So by adding some flour to it, you can actually prevent that from happening. So I'm gonna go ahead and stir in the flour. That's the first thing, and that's just to prevent the curdling as you turn this into a sauce, because we want to raise the heat on it a bit. Not like, you know, we're not going to raise it above 120 degrees, but we want to raise it because we're going to warm that fennel back up. So go ahead and mix the flour into the yogurt. Now I'm going to temper the yogurt a little bit by just adding in a little bit of that hot braising liquid, just a little bit at a time, just to get it to be liquidy so it gets used to the heat. You do not want to raise the heat of yogurt too fast. Like I said, we're doing this, we do not want it to curdle. Once it curdles, I mean, you can try to save it, but it's pretty darn difficult, so we don't really want to do that. So just keep adding in a portion of the braising liquid, a little bit at a time. As you can see, the yogurt is now thinned out rather nicely. All of the braising liquid has now been worked into this. So I'm going to transfer this to the Dutch oven, and then we're going to warm it up, add some more thyme, and then add the fennel back in. So let's go ahead and add our yogurt sauce. Now we're going to add our fennel back in. Now that the fennel's in there, we're just going to warm this over a very low heat. Like I said, you do not want to bring yogurt, you don't want to warm it fast. So just warm this over a very low heat. I'm going to cover it, just let it sit that way for a few minutes, and then I'm going to add in some fresh thyme. Now that the yogurt sauce is starting to get warm, it's not quite there yet, but I'm going to go ahead and add some fresh thyme leaves in here to flavor it up. Oh, you can see it's just starting to boil there. We just let that sit there and just gently simmer for a few minutes. That's pretty much ready, so I'm just going to throw a slice of lemon in there, sprig of thyme, and there you have it, the wine braised fennel. Enjoy!